Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, HaKodash. And double honors to the elders and bishops of Great Millstone who teach and rule well, and salutations to the prophets and beloved brothers continuing to exhort the sheep in these last days, and a mighty shalom to the hopeful elect listening in, to the 12 tribes scattered abroad, shalom and shalom. The title of this epistle is going to be entitled, Get This Daily Bread. Get, receive, and eat this daily bread. Seek ye the Lord while he may be found, for there will be a time where this word will be resealed, and you will not be able to receive the sincere 100% sound truth of the gospel, because the prophets will be taken off the internet, they will be taken off the streets, they will be hidden, because this is the will of the Most High Yahweh power in preserving his anointed, preserving his sealed that has received report, the 100% sound truth of the gospel, and have received Hamashiach Yahweh Shai as their Lord and Savior, and will be redeemed in the end times upon enduring until the end. So unto the masses, those that have the ears to hear and eyes to see, and you can hear your teachers and you see what is going on around you, and it's all lining up for you nice and clearly, coming out of the scriptures, no less, precept upon precept, because there will be a famine of the word. The book will be resealed, and it will be utter darkness. You will be in utter darkness, not having the understanding and comprehension of all things to take place, and being a guiding light for the things that are coming down the road. So get this daily bread, seek the prophets of old, and seek ye the Lord while he may be found. With that, we will go right into Hebrews chapter 1 and verse 1. Hebrews chapter 1, reading verse 1 and 2, and it reads, The Most High, who at sundry times and in diverse manners spake in time past unto the fathers of the prophets, hath in these last days spoken unto us by his Son. So in the past, it is written in the scriptures that the Most High has spoken unto the fathers of the prophets. So the Most High Yahweh Shai is only dealing with prophets in delivering his sincere word, because he has separated them from the world and all things in it to house his spirit. And depending upon the lot of that prophet, they can be a prophet that is sincere, who has the fear and reverence of the Most High Yahweh power, who will diligently continue to persevere and do his work and delivering his word by feeding the sheep. And then there are those that will be utterly destroyed, prophets that are set up just for the sifting process and utterly destroyed. So the Most High Yahweh Shai has always delivered unto his elect the spirit of Hamashiach, the spirit of his only begotten Son. Verse 2, hath in these last days spoken unto us by his Son, whom he hath appointed heir of all things, by whom also he made the worlds. Right? So the Most High Yahweh Shai has only ever spoken unto the prophets being of the seed line of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Right? He has only given his word unto Jacob, and all the other nations he has not dealt so. He has written this in Psalms 147 verses 19 and 20. Let's go into the mighty book of Isaiah, chapter 55. Chapter 55. Get this daily bread, right? Get this daily bread. Get this food while you can. Receive the word of the sincere prophets, right? Delivering unto you the 100% sound doctrine that is written therein. Isaiah chapter 55 verse 6. Seek ye Yahweh while he may be found. There's going to be a time where he cannot be found. He's going to hide his face, because the word that was delivered was rejected. His strong arm of salvation, the other hand, did not go out and grab it for to be redeemed and saved. It says, seek ye Yahweh while he may be found. Call upon him while he is near. Let the wicked forsake his way. His strong arm is even stretched out still unto those that are committing iniquities and sins, and has long patience awaiting for the fruit to manifest, so he may seal his anointed, seal his elect, and then pour out judgments on the iniquities, pour out his judgments onto the vessels that have truly rejected him, and who is said to receive these judgments. Verse 7 in Isaiah chapter 55. Let the wicked forsake his way, and let the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return unto Yahweh, and he will have mercy upon him, and to our power, for he will abundantly pardon. Your sins cannot be pardoned if you're not seeking out the word of the Most High Yahweh, our power, and receiving that daily bread from the prophets that he has anointed up in these times, that resurrection, the prophets of old, the teachers, everyone that he has called into this ministry is being resurrected and is forming that tabernacle of David, the house of David, right? So get this daily bread, seek him while he may be found, because there will be a time where you will not receive this word. It will be resealed. It will be resealed. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 34. Coffee got me like Isaiah chapter 34 and verse 16. It says, seek ye out of the book of Yahweh and read. No one of these shall fail. What shall not fail? The prophecies, the verdict, the judgment, the timeline of things to happen and take place, the history. All these things are 100% sound truth, and it is given unto the prophets to reveal the truth to you, because it is sealed. It is sealed because that spirit lies within the anointed, and the anointed only, those who the Most High Yahweh has pardoned their iniquities and found favor, being predestined to fulfill that lot, to be able to perform this particular ministry, what's he call it, a profession, the profession of our faith, to deliver this word unto the world, until the world of Israel, right? He says, seek ye out of the book of Yahweh and read. No one of these shall fail. None shall want her mate. For my mouth it hath commanded, and his spirit it hath gathered them. By his spirit has rested upon his anointed prophets, and is gathering under the banner of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, to deliver the 100% sound gospel unto his people, to receive it, so you may have that hope and that seal to be covered in the times of judgment. Let's go to Daniel real quick. Daniel chapter 12. Daniel chapter 12 and verse 4. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. So in times past, this book has been sealed and could not be interpreted. The truth of the gospel was or sealed up, because the spirit of prophecy is Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. And only up until the time of the appointed time of the valley of dry bones, the resurrection of his priests coming out of that deep slumber and given that breath of life, were they able to stand on their feet, and as a babe with stammering lips are now able to interpret the scriptures, because they were sealed, right? It can only be unsealed by having the spirit of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, and that rests on his holy prophets only. Isaiah, let's go to Isaiah chapter 29 and verse, Isaiah chapter 29 and verse, we'll start at verse 10. It says, "For Yahweh hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and hath closed your eyes. The prophets and your rulers and your seers hath he covered." So because the transgression and the fall of our forefathers in the land, in the promised land, when they fell, he had cast out his prophets, his seers, his judges and rulers, because they went wayward. They were committing iniquity, and now are blinded. That staff of strength and wisdom he broke, because that's the punishment that falls under Deuteronomy chapter 28, when you transgress his law, statutes, and commandments as a holy nation of people. This is what happens. You are banished and exiled into the four corners of the earth, and serve and are made to serve hard bondage under the heathens who now have power over you. But in returning unto the Father, you must believe and receive on the sincere report, the 100% sound doctrine that is given unto you by the priests and the prophets. And upon doing so, you may be able to have that seal of redemption placed upon you in the times of judgment. This is why it's important to seek ye the Lord while he may be found, because the heathens have it in their heart to reseal the book. And this is all according to the will of the Most High Yahweh, our power. This is how he works. He does good and he does evil. You must receive both. It's for refinement purposes. And if you harbor any kind of pride, or you are attached to any idolizations and iniquities, you will be sealed and cast into darkness and will not know the way of righteousness. You will not be able to find that guiding light that is able to preserve your soul. Right? He says in Isaiah chapter 29, "For Yahweh hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and hath closed your eyes. The prophets and your rulers and your seers hath he covered. And the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, Read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I cannot, for it is sealed." Now everyone's trying to take this book and say, "Can you please break down Revelation chapter 13 for me?" And they say, "I can't. I don't understand it, because I wasn't given that Ruach HaKodesh in order to be able to interpret it and compound it with the history that substantiates the scriptures and who the people and salvation is for." Everything has become glossed over and is read unto you surface level, like all the other heathen nations. When they read this, they put their own spin on it and develop a doctrine of devils and go wayward and teach how to scatter the sheep, giving them false philosophies and false hope, if there is any. But the prophets that are set up and standing on their feet now is delivering unto you the 100% sound doctrine of salvation, and showcasing to you who the evil of the world is: Esau, Edom, and all the other heathen nations that touched the apple of his eye, those that were never cast about the four corners of the earth on slave ships, and has had laws subjecting them to keep them in an oppressed state, while others get to flourish. This is what the righteous have visually recorded and experienced under the rule of the heathens. So we deliver the 100% sound doctrine for you to have clarity on situation. Isaiah chapter 29 and verse 12. "And the book is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, Read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I am not learned. Wherefore Yahweh said, For as much as this people draw near to me with their mouth, and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their heart far from me, and their fear toward me is taught by the precept of man." They're not taught how to fear Yahweh or Yahweh Shai. They're taught to have some kind of mixed philosophy of being in a hopeful place, not being delivered that sincere daily bread that instills fear to seek the Father while he may be found. There's many people that heap up to themselves teachers having that itchy ear because of the weight of judgment causes them to shy away from it. But the prophets will not hesitate to tell you that there will be a famine of all things. First and foremost, the famine of the word, famine of food. Many people are going to die because this is the will of the Most High Yahweh our power. As in the days of Noah, they were in their folly until the flood came and took them all away. Now, if someone who says they believe in a higher power and believe on the report in the scriptures and do not believe that there is judgment brewing and will take place, have utterly are blinded, are deliberately staying in that blind state. Let's go to Job. Let's go to mighty book of Job. I gotta find it first. Here you go. Seek ye Yahweh while he may be found. So you may have that hope and redemption of being covered in the times of famine and judgment and wrath, because it will be a time of Jacob's trouble, right? We are impoverished, a poor people. We don't have the resources to rescue ourselves. And if we were given those resources, this is not the way of salvation, because we wait on the Lord, the Most High Yahweh, our power, to redeem us and bring us into his safety. This is the word. Job chapter 8, verse 5 on down. It says, if thou wouldest seek unto the Most High betimes, and make thy supplication to the Almighty, if thou were pure and upright, surely now he would awake for thee. You have to be in a state of good graces, producing fruit according to the scriptures, spending time in the scriptures, learning for yourself. He says, study to show thyself approved. Learn what you are being taught by the prophets, retaining it and teaching your children, teaching your brethren, those of the 12 tribes, of who they are, what they must do, whether or not they hear or forbear. The blood is now off your hand. Once you are delivered the word, you must speak the word. Otherwise, you are hiding your gifts, and it will be taken from you. You will be cast out into darkness, and what you have learned and the favor that has been placed upon you will be placed on the next one in line. Job chapter 8, verse 6. If thou were pure and upright, surely now he would awake for thee. He would move on your behalf if you were pure and upright, walking in an upright manner. Because Esau Edom is being exposed. His skirt's being lifted up because the spirit in him is not upright. Right? So you do not want to take on his spirit, but you want to take on that righteous spirit. If thou were pure and upright, surely now he would awake for thee and make the habitation of thy righteousness prosperous. Right? Even while others are going through what they're going through in turmoil, you will be placed in his hand and you will have prosperity until the time of redemption. Though thy beginning was small, yet thy latter end should greatly increase. This is abundance. We did not come from abundance. We didn't come with having prosperity and exempt from judgments. No, we experienced judgments heavily. And this is the will of the Most High Yahweh power for refinement purposes, to purge out that iniquity that was embedded in us from our forefathers, right? It takes time to get that filth off of us, and especially on the sons and daughters in this generation, completely covered in darkness. But through his word and his favor and his mercy, we are being washed daily, and we need to eat this bread daily to be washed and purge of our iniquities, to make our mind right. This is what his favor does for us. Job chapter 8 and verse 8. For inquire, I pray thee, for the former age, and prepare thyself to the search of your fathers. So look at the past, reflect on the history and what happened unto them, to where they did not receive favor, and what they did to receive favor. So that way you know what to do and how to move to receive favor. And is to receive instruction and walk there in it. Is a hear and do type of thing. This is not hear and go about your business, be self-willed. No, but you walk according to the scriptures and be an upright individual, carrying the law within your heart and acting it out in real time, and being that guiding light unto others that continue to walk in their folly and cause rebuke unto them. And if they do not change, they will be cast out into the utter darkness, where you will still have favor on you and those underneath your roof. For I inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to the search of their fathers. For we are but of yesterday, and know nothing, because we were given that spirit of deep slumber. Because our days upon the earth are as a shadow, right? We continue to pop up in generations, not having no wherewithal of who we are, where we're at, where we came from, and what we must do to receive salvation, because it has been sealed. But in these end times, like we opened up in Hebrews chapter 1 and verse 1 and 2, that the Most High Yahweh, our power, as in times past, sundry times spoke to the fathers of the prophets, he has now spoken unto us by his Son, his beloved Son, our Messiah, Yahweh Shai, who is teaching us how to do these things and how to be upright, and separating us from the world and the iniquities of this world, so that way we may have that lot to perform our duties unto the sincere sheep. Right? So let's go to Nehemiah. Nehemiah. Eat this daily bread. Get this word while you can continue to eat it. Once you have eaten a good amount of it, you will be fed properly. Nehemiah chapter 9 and verse 26. Verse 26, we're reflecting, because we just read, he said, seek the former times of your fathers, right? Look at the past, learn from their mistakes. Otherwise you will be broken off, or they were broken off of that tree of life. So that way in this age, we may have that hopes of being adopted into that covenant as well, to be grafted in again. You would have to have been grafted in once before. Your genealogy of forefathers must have taken place in order for you to be grafted in again, right? Nehemiah chapter 9 verse 26 on down, it reads, nevertheless they were disobedient and rebelled against thee, and cast thy law behind their backs, and slew thy prophets. They slew the prophets. Why? They rejected the prophets. They didn't want to hear none of that. They found themselves having favor for a time, and has thrown the law behind their backs, thinking that it was only going to be a one-time thing, that they were not supposed to go and continue to keep his law, statutes, and commands. But they slew the prophets, which testified against them. That's the lot of the prophets, the teachers, the judges, to continue to keep that rod like a shepherd on the people, so they are guided in the ways of righteousness, but they jump out the fence and they do what they want to do. And then the fathers go, that's the father's territory. And slew the prophets which testified against them, to turn them to thee, and they wrought great provocations. As in this time, the sons of the prophets are rejected, because they do not have that resemblance of someone that is giving them a smooth word like the one set up in these times. They want the message of salvation to be delivered unto them with like bells and whistles and a choir behind them and clapping along or something. I don't know. But they reject the prophets. They slew the prophets. They look down on them, right? Because maybe they're not eloquent in speech, or maybe they don't have all the things of this world that shows what success may look like according to Esau, Edom. So they reject the word of the prophets. But the Most High Yahweh, our power, says that he chooses the foolish things out the world to confound the wise. To confound the wise. And they slew the prophets which testified against them to turn them to thee, and they wrought great provocations. Therefore thou deliverest them into the hand of their enemies, who vexed them. And in time of their trouble, when they cried unto thee, thou heardest them from heaven. So when that holy nation tends to go off, as in times past, the Father ejects them out of the covenant and into hard bondage to serve, their enemies, the heathens, until they cry out, remember who they are, start keeping his ways, and then he has favor upon them and delivers unto them manifold mercies. So it shows salvation and favor unto one and not the other. That universal salvation doctrine is a philosophy that is man-made. The word of salvation is delivered unto a particular people, those that have been in hard bondage and are under the curses found in Deuteronomy chapter 8. Therefore thou deliverest them into the hand of their enemies, who vexed them, and in the time of their trouble, when they cried unto thee, thou heardest them from heaven, and according to thy manifold mercies, thou gavest them saviors. He delivers unto his people saviors. These would be the prophets, the teachers, those that he has anointed to unloose the seals, having that spirit of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai to interpret all things, to cause corrections and rebuke our people, but they rejected. They slew the prophets. But after they had rest, they did evil again. See, they could get complacent, right? He says in I think it's in Sirach, Ecclesiasticus, that in the times of prosperity, there's a forgetfulness of lack, because you have abundance and you forget to always remember those times where you are impoverished. They get complacent and think too relaxed. He doesn't like that. But after they had rest, they did evil again before thee. Therefore leftest thou them in the hand of their enemies, so that they had the dominion over them. See, there's a hierarchy in establishing righteousness. If you are unrighteous, you have unrighteous people ruling over you. And if you are righteous, you are now put in favor to govern those that are unrighteous. Therefore, thou leftest thou them in the hand of their enemies, and you will be left in their land as well. You will not be redeemed. Yet when they returned and cried unto thee, thou heardest them from heaven, and many times didst thou deliver them according to thy mercies. Now, it may show and reflect here that the Most High's hand has always had favor upon his people and redeeming them. But there's going to be a time where that mercy is going to be cut off. You will not be found in favor because you have dragged your feet. You have took your time. You had scoffed at the prophets and rejected it. Words out of your mouth, you have uttered, I don't believe. I don't believe that. I think you're interpreting that wrong. I think you're wicked. I think that you're teaching me falsities. These are those that reject the word. What can you do about it? Nothing. Nehemiah 9:29, and testified against them that thou mightest bring them again unto the law to keep his word. This place, them outsiders teach you not to keep his ordinances, that you should just believe on the Son of Messiah to be redeemed. But there's works involved to show that you have the fear of the Father and keeping his ways, to have favor. Being a reflection of the Messiah, becoming one, you have to receive Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. Otherwise, you are Antichrist, you are anti-Messiah. Yet they dealt proudly and hearkened not unto the commandments, but sinned against thy judgments. You do not keep his commandments, you are committing a trespass. That's 1 John 3:4. Which if a man do, he shall live in them. You shall live in them. You shall live in the commandments. You should keep his holy days. You should keep his feast days. You should blow the trumpet in a new moon and on the Sabbath. You should be having Sabbath observances. You should be eating clean. You should be learning daily. You should be teaching your children daily. You should be thinking righteously. You should be separating yourself from iniquities. You should be repenting on the daily. You should be cleaning up your act, which if a man do, he shall live in them, and withdrew their shoulder, and hardened their necks, and would not hear. Yet many years, we're still in Nehemiah chapter 9, verse 30. Yet many years didst thou forbear them, and testified against them by the Spirit in thy prophets. Yet would they not hear, yet would they not give ear. Therefore gavest thou them into the hand of the people of the lands. So even in this time, you reject the word of the prophets, right? Who are delivered unto you, that they're saviors, that message of redemption. But until that lot of the prophet's job is fulfilled and done, then you will be given up to your own devices and will have to defend yourself because you did not choose the Lord to defend you. That's his word. This is what he says. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 1 and verse... Un momento. Ephesians chapter 1 and verse 13. For those that believe. Ephesians chapter 1 and 13. In whom ye also trusted after that ye heard the word of truth, the gospel of your salvation. The gospel of your salvation was delivered unto you. You were told what tribe you were from, where you hailed from, what language you spoke, what happened to our forefathers, how we ended up over here, how we picked up this defiled language called English. Right? Your heritage was stripped from you because our people were given a spirit of deep sleep and forgotten who they were, because through the dispensation of times and things unfolding through the ages, those things were then rapidly removed from us. But the Most High Yahweh, our power, has it in his perfect will to instill those heritages of old into his elect and his predestined 1/3 that he is going to receive. And those that has trusted in the word, that afterward, I'm in 13, the gospel of your salvation, in whom also after that ye believed, you were sealed with that holy Ruach of promise. That is what gives you that seal. If you continue to believe in the report, have that fear and reverence to separate yourself from iniquities and false philosophies and wayward doctrines, and receive the sincere truth of the prophets, because those that receive a prophet receive a prophet's reward. What is that? Salvation. Wow, why would you not want that, right? That seal. Let's go to the mighty book of St. John, chapter 3 and verse 33. St. John, chapter 3 and verse 33 says, he that hath received his testimony hath set to his seal that the Most High is true. When you have received the word, verified the word, and this word resonates with your Holy Spirit, upon giving that Holy Spirit, you are now set to his seal that the Most High is true. Now you know that there is a higher power working and at work, and that all judgments proceed out of the throne of Yahweh or Yahweh Shai. Nothing is orchestrated and manifested in man's hand unless the Most High has signed it and sealed it for it to happen. All things work for the greater good of the Most High Yahweh Power's will, and for those that serve him and keep his commandments. Let's go to Isaiah real quick. Isaiah chapter 8. Isaiah chapter 8, verse 16 on down. It reads, bind up the testimony. Bind up the testimony. Put together the testimony of Hamashiach Yahushai and seal the law among my disciples. Give them all the records, give them all the understanding, and seal it upon them. Those that believe and continue to hearken and do what is asked of them, even through trials, even through separations, even through judgments. You continue to put all that behind you because the reward is great. This is what the Most High Yahweh, our power, has said. Serve me, and then I will give you the kingdom. Don't complain about it. Don't murmur about it. I know you're tired. I know your poverty. I know people hate you. I know how they blaspheme you. I know these things. I'm recording it. Just go and do the work. Isaiah chapter 8 and 17. And I will wait upon Yahweh that hideth his face from the house of Jacob, and I will look for him. You will seek him. You will look for him. You need his favor because you cannot save yourself. You are not a savior. Verse 18, behold, I and the children whom Yahweh hath given me are for signs and for wonders in Israel, in Yasha'Allah, from Yahweh of hosts, which dwelleth in Mount Zion. He has made his chosen people a spectacle in the eyes of the world. And whether or not they see it, believe it or not, it is manifested in the flesh right in front of them. Those that are doing the work, those that are making themselves a living sacrifice and a spectacle in the face of this normalcy. Isaiah chapter 8:19. And when they shall say unto you, seek unto them that have familiar spirits, and unto wizards that peep and that mutter, should not a people seek their God, for the living to the dead? Right. These are those that continue to stay in darkness and wayward philosophies and say, listen, man, that's not the way to go. You got to go seek Pastor so-and-so. He's got the truth. He's saying that we should seek the Most High Yahweh, our power, because he is the God of the living, not the God of the dead. They want you to seek gods that cannot produce life. Verse 20, important verse here. Isaiah chapter 8 and verse 20. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. The body of Messiah, the true prophets, will be in unison of what they speak. It will be like a song, a pleasant song. And once played accurately and correctly, it's going to have that river of living waters flowing out of their bellies, all 144,000 of them, into which the mixed multitude of Israel is going to receive it and ultimately have that portion of salvation as well. If they speak not according to this law and testimony, is because there's no light in them. It's not hard to fathom. There are those that can receive it and those that reject it. Those that like the tune of the song and continue to go about their business and do not pick up the plow. Verse 21, and they shall pass through it, hardly be stead and hungry. These are those that reject it. I'll read it again. Isaiah chapter 8, verse 21. And they shall pass through it, hardly be stead and hungry. And it shall come to pass that when they shall be hungry, they shall fret themselves and curse their king and their power and look upward. And they shall look unto the earth and behold trouble and darkness, dimness of anguish, and they shall be driven to darkness. This is what's going to happen to the 2/3 of our people that continue to stay within their folly. When Jacob's trouble is in full swing of things, they're not going to have any kind of wherewithal what's going on. Even if they have a Bible in their hand, they're probably going to read it closed upside down and inside out. They're not going to have no understanding of what the scriptures are said, because the favor of the Father is no longer stretched out, because he has opened up the floodgates of judgments. And we're telling you that the sword is being sharpened, and we can smell that hard metal being sharpened in the heavens. It's terrifying to think that you may not have that favor because you have spent your time in folly. Right? The Most High has always extended unto his people mercies, 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 and sent out the prophets before judgments. But the people continue to roll around in the field in folly. Let's go to 2 Chronicles real quick. 2 Chronicles, I'm going to jump to the back. Yep. 2 Chronicles chapter 36, reading verse 15 and 16. It reads, and Yahweh, our power of their fathers, sent to them by his messengers, rising up betimes and sending, because he had compassion. I'm sorry. Where am I at? I'll read it again. 2 Chronicles 36:15. And Yahweh our power of their fathers sent to them by his messengers, rising up betimes and sending, because he had compassion on his people and on his dwelling place. His name rests upon his people, and he has compassion and mercy upon his people, even in their gross darkness, by sending them prophets betimes to waken them up out of deep sleep, to cause that fear to arise in them and have that joy of the gospel wash over them, so they may be seeking the Lord while he may be found, right? This is his mercies. We opened up with Hebrews chapter 1 and 2, right? He says that he's going to send prophets even in this time. But they mocked the messengers of the Most High and despised his words and misused his prophets, until the wrath of Yahweh arose against his people, till there was no remedy, right? It's like, I told you. You're not going to say that, but it's like, you know, what are you going to do? Proverbs chapter 1. Proverbs chapter 1. The message is to hearken and do and get this daily bread. Put all things down and seek ye the Father while he may be found, because the sword is being sharpened, evidently, all around you. Proverbs chapter 1 and verse 20. I'll read a little bit of this. Wisdom crieth without, she uttereth her voice in the streets. Wisdom is being put out there. The strong arm of the Father's favor is being published on these YouTube epistles, and they're also being published out on the highways and byways and the four corners of the earth. There's brethren all over the place preaching the sincere truth unto his sheep, and he's raising up his elect in these last days, right? The great millstone, the great millstone. Wisdom crieth without, she uttereth her voice in the streets. She crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates. In the city she uttereth her words, saying, how long, you simple ones, will you love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. They go about themselves thinking themselves to be wise because their pastor told them this, and they believed and they had a good time and it was all fun and games and blah, blah, blah. They love simplicity. They hate the knowledge of the truth. It's a double-edged sword. Verse 23, turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. He speaks through the vessels of the prophets of old and the children on this time. Verse 24, because I have called and you refused, I have stretched out my hand and no man regardeth. But ye have set at naught all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. You know, sometimes I tear up sincerely and my stomach turns inwards, because this very verse here, you know, the men that have been set up to do this work and put down their lives, their desires, all those things to serve the Most High Yahweh, our power. And it's our pleasure to do so. When you put this much effort into what you believe and you try to extend that mercy unto others, and they reject it, they scoff, they leave snide remarks, and they just go on about their folly. It's heartbreaking, to say the least. But we're being hardened, and he's going to put a spirit of, you know, whatever. Proverbs 1 and 25. But ye have set at naught all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. I will also laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. He's going to disregard you when terror consumes you all around you. He's going to be laughing in the heavens, and his elect are not going to shed a tear, because you have offended the prophets. You have offended them. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you, then shall they call upon me. Then what? When they find out it's too late, then what? Verse 28, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For that they hated knowledge, and did not choose the fear of the Lord. This is why you will not have favor with the Father, right? Because there is going to be a famine of the word. That's written in Amos chapter 8. Amos chapter 8 and 11. Two more verses and we're done. Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh Power. Amos 8 and 11. Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh Power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor of thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh Power. He's going to close up the books, hide his prophets, hide his elect. You're going to engage in the beast system where you will be fed and all these things for a time and then utter destruction. Because you have not chose the fear of the Most High Yahweh our power and put him above all things. You went about seeking your own pleasures and enjoyed the house of mirth while it existed, right? Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh our power. There might be some saying, oh, if the words are shut up, at least we can still, feed ourselves and feed our children, feed our dogs and our goldfish and stuff. That's good, right? Okay. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro and seek the word of Yahweh our power, and shall not be able to find it. They won't be able to interpret or understand the word or what's the things to come, whatever. They're going to be given over to a reprobate mind and cast out into utter darkness. Last verse. We're going into 2nd Ezra chapter 5. And we'll start at verse 8. We'll start at verse 8. There shall be a confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be oft sent out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places. This is in the times of trouble and terror, right? When the word will not be able to be found. There shall be a confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be oft sent out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places, and menstruous women shall bring forth monsters, and salt waters shall be found in the sweet, and all friends shall destroy one another. Then shall wit hide itself, wisdom is going to hide itself, and understanding withdraw itself into its secret chamber. And wisdom, just like the elect, are going to be put into the secret chamber until a time when judgment is poured out, and shall be sought of many. Wisdom shall be sought of many. What was that precept again? What was that breakdown again? What was the name of the Father again? And shall be sought of many, and yet not be found. Then shall unrighteousness and incontinency be multiplied on the earth. One land also shall ask another and say, is righteousness that maketh a man righteousness gone through thee? And it shall say, no, we don't know the ways of righteousness. We forgot what they said. There was something about commandments. I don't know. At the same time shall men hope, but nothing obtain. They shall labor, but their ways shall not prosper. Nothing you will do will be able to save yourself or your family. Verse 13, to show thee such tokens I have leave, and thou wilt pray again and weep as now, and fast 7 days, thou shalt not hear yet greater things. So in this time, we're having favor by Yahweh Shai, and believing on the report, sincerely doing the work, are prompted and moved to deliver this word, to feed the sincere sheep of the Most High Yahweh our power. This is what he says: if you love me, feed my sheep. He didn't say, if you love me, go make a homestead. If you love me, go establish a business. If you love me, go do all these things, because he's going to bring it all to a full stop. So with that, I pray this is edifying unto the elect, the Wada Abanawa Yahweh, for another opportunity to push forth word, wisdom. And until then, Shalom.